All right, plaintiff side, you may begin with your opening statement.
Chris Moss, an 18-year-old unemployed high school graduate, is not able to get a job or complete basic life skills. There are multiple reasons for this, including the lack of student-teacher interaction and poor testing by his high school. These have directly impacted Moss in that he cannot accomplish simple tasks like filling out a resume or doing his taxes. Moss came to us to help him and students like him in his fight for fairness. We propose that the jury serve justice by means of reform in the educational system and $20,000 in reparation for the maltreatments of Moss relating to his education.
Excellent. Defense, you may present your opening statement.
Today we are here to prove that the New Columbia School District is not at fault for the inability of Chris Moss to succeed academically. In this case, Chris is accusing the New Columbia School District of educational malpractice based on his struggle to find employment and his lack of basic academic skills. Chris, Chris claims to have been deprived of the adequate education needed for his future, stating that the school district and its agents have failed in their statutory duties, under the code sections provided, to educate him in basic academic skills. In Statute Code Section 2098, Analysis of Individual Needs and Potential, it states how the school district analyzes student needs and abilities, one of them being through standardized testing. An important factor about Chris Moss's experience at this school is that he did not attend or take the standardized test. The importance of these tests are to identify weak areas in a student's development and education with the purpose of increasing teaching in that area. Because Chris Moss did not attend this test, his reading abilities were not identified as developmentally struggling, and therefore, he was not prompted to participate in the reading program or receive any further assistance. In Statute Code Section 2099, Instructional Procedures, it states that each educator at the school should make it a priority to encourage learning in the school district and to consider the individual interests and abilities of the students. One of our witnesses, Ms. Leslie Brown, embodies exactly what this means at an educational level. She pursues students and helps them succeed in her class through involvement and interaction. Although she reports Chris found the class interesting, she also reports that he lacked the initiative to do homework and had problems with attendance. Lastly, as seen in the case law John W. versus Broad School District, it states in its final verdict, the achievement of literacy in the schools or its failure is influenced by a host of factors which affect the pupil subjectively, beyond the control of its ministers. It also states, schools cannot be held responsible for the failure of parents or the students themselves. In this case, the New Columbia School District exceeded the requirements for public education. However, without the participation of Chris and his mom, they were unable to become involved, resulting in a lack of educational development. We ask that the jury recognize that the New Columbia School District followed all state guidelines and therefore should not be held responsible for Chris's lack of involvement and initiative in his own educational experience. Thank you.
All right, plaintiff, you may call your first witness.
Jerry Stein, you tested Chris Moss to determine his academic level, correct?
Yes.
And you said that he could be at least average with proper education, correct?
Yes, that is also correct.
So you agree that the teachers did not do enough to ensure Moss obtained a well-rounded education?
Yes. I think that they failed to educate Chris Moss to reach his full potential, and I think that they could have done better with the reading program and testing each student on a mandatory test and making sure their attendance was mandatory as well. I do again believe that the education system failed Chris Moss as a student.
Further questions for this witness?
Defense, you may cross-examine.
Is it true that Chris missed his 8th grade standardized test and it was not made up?
Yes, that is true.
Is it true that you said in your statement it is important for school districts to follow up on testing and help the student with making it up because these tests are important in evaluating and identifying weaknesses in certain educational areas?
Yes.
We have knowledge that the school did in fact send a written notice notifying Chris and his mom of the required necessities for taking the test in the next 30 days. Do you recall if Chris's mother or him ever reached out again to the school after receiving this notice? They did not reach out. So it was their fault that the school followed up and did their part
but Chris and his mom did not contact us back, even though we informed them how important that it was. You said that the reading program at this school needs to be improved to target specific areas of reading development. Is this true?
Yes.
We have evidence from another student with similar conditions to Chris, Alex Lloyd, saying that he attended the reading program after receiving below average 8th grade test scores. And through this program, his reading levels improved. Do you think that if Chris had taken the test after seeing the scores, maybe would have attended the program and it would have helped him in any way?
Yes, but taking the test was not available to him.
Move further.
Plaintiff can redirect. Good. All right. Plaintiff may call their next witness.
Sydney Payne.
What do you want me to say?
Um, one second. Okay, Sydney Payne. You work for a company called Bowers and Jenkins, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you do specifically?
I'm an office manager.
So for the school, or for the company, you go over the application process for new employees.
Yes.
Do you remember coming across an applicant named Chris Moss?
Yes.
And what were some of the things that you noticed about his application?
I noticed that his education was higher. There was many examples. He was unable to put names in alphabetical order, unable to put letters in numerical order, and unable to solve them.
And how many employees over time have you hired that have graduated from New Columbia High School?
3.
And do you feel like they excelled in basic academics?
No, I did not.
Do you think that that reflects on the type of education they got at their school?
I do.
And based on your knowledge of New Columbia Senior High School, would you recommend attendance there?
No.
Why?
I have 2 kids myself, and I feel that they would have a better education at a private school. I also have many friends who went to a private school. And as I went to a public school, I feel my education is much lower than the kids.
What further questions?
Cross-examine.
You said that in comparing education from private school and public school, the quality of the education is better in private school. Do you think this has to do with the cost of the private school?
I'm not sure.
Would you agree that private schools have better teacher to student ratios as well as educational resources than the cost? Because private schools have a different atmosphere for education, you cannot compare a private school to a public school. You said that public school districts have the quality resources private school did. They would be better equipped to develop students' education. That's what the question is.
Plaintiffs may redirect.
The cost of the schools has nothing to do with how well the education is. The materials may be lacking for public schools when compared to private schools, but that has nothing to do with the teachers themselves. And how well their students can be educated.
Yes, but do you have any questions for Sydney back there? All right. Plaintiff may call their final witness.
Chris Moss.
Can you complete basic activities like reading a newspaper, applying for a job, or figuring out how much tax you owe? Did your teachers ask you about your grades when they were below average? Did your parents help you learn mandatory subjects?
My mom worked a lot and my dad.
No further questions.
Cross-examination by defense.
Would you agree that you had trouble applying for a job after high school? Did you take a life skills class in high school? It is reported that you received a D and were absent for a good portion of the class that you did in fact take. If you were present in the class, do you think it would have increased your ability and knowledge in applying for a job? Is it true that there was a reading program at your school directed towards improving reading ability? Why did you decide not to participate in the program if you struggled in that specific area? Can you explain your home dynamic and what it consisted of?
My mom was gone a lot.
Did your mom ever attend a teacher conference on behalf of your education? Do you think it would have helped if your mom was more involved in and aware of your education? Is it true that your mother used to go over your report cards whenever they were received from the school and that she was, quote, happy with them? It did say in your summary statement that it was. In our provided evidence of your 11th grade report card, it says in the teacher comments that you are struggling to complete reading assignments. Did you not say your mom had no idea you couldn't read, but looked at every report card? No further questions.
Thanks. Plaintiffs may redirect. No further questions. You rest your case? Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, we will pick up with the defense on Tuesday. Okay. Is everybody planning on being here Tuesday? Okay. All right. All right. Well, we will do the defense on Tuesday then.